Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this live stream. I'm happy to announce some interesting stuff today. It's taken a long time, a lot of effort, a lot of time, and obviously sorting out the finances was something um, that was a challenge, but it's done now. So, firstly, thank you for watching. Let's see where you're watching from. Let's have a few more people joining before I start making some of the announcements. I'm going to post this as well. Okay. Where are you guys watching from? Let's first get that going. Where are you guys watching from? CEO of EPO. How's it going down with the showdown with the Pajeets? Man, these Pajeets are ridiculous. Yeah, it's difficult to understand. What about now, guys? How's it going now? Let's see how it's going. Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me?
What about now, guys?
Okay. Can you see me okay? Can everyone see me okay? We can hear. Okay, good. Just had a bit of an internet problem there, which does happen. Okay, I've got this internet that I can check everything's going fine. Okay. So, guys, keep telling me where you're from. I received some really good news in the past couple of days. So, I want to share that with you guys. Just going to make a phone call. India. Who's watching from India? Home of Tommy Robinson. Alrighty. Hope you guys are ready for some announcements. Give me a second. Should be more organized. That's how it is, last minute for everything. It's fine. Okay. Serbia. My brother, I think, did I do a live stream with you? I may have done. Okay. Just waiting on a link I need to send out. So guys, just trying to connect my. Okay. Iraq, Algeria. Nice. Korea. Wow. I was in Korea last year. Last year? Yeah, it was last year. It's very nice. Which part of Iraq, my friend? My family ancestry goes back to that region. So you're very interested. In Ethiopia. Nice. Very nice. Okay, guys. Hyderabad. Nice. Where else are you watching from? Are you watching on Twitter or YouTube? Can we just get a check? You got Mongol blood? Nope, not Mongolian. Not Mongolian, my friend. Iran. Hopefully southern Iran. UAE, Morocco. Somali confused in America. Well, there's a lot of Somalians in America. A lot actually in London. Tehran. Nice. Kuwait. Your Zerp lesson watching from Belgium. I'm actually looking for somebody from Belgium. Look who it is. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, brother
How you,
Sabur?
how you doing, man? You all right?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Everything is good.
Yes. Jazakallah khair for joining the stream. I just called you out of the blue. You just, I'm sure that's why you don't have your camera on, because you weren't really prepared. I wanted to make some announcements, so I wanted you to be there,
Uh-huh.
and then just for us to have a bit of a discussion as well. So the first thing is, since Dave, this guy
Mhm.
made a response to our video. It's a 3 hour long response. Obviously, he spent a lot of time on it, and then we challenged him, obviously, to the debates. So what I did is it took a bit of time because there's lots of actually activities happening at universities right now. So
Mhm.
it took a lot of time to set up 3 debates. So it's not actually 2. It's even better because the first one is Darwinian evolution, which
Mhm.
is obviously the same debate I had with Aaron Ra and others. The second one is universal common ancestry, to have a particular discussion just on that, because that needs its own discussion. It's a different area, because
Mhm.
Darwinian evolution obviously is the mechanism, and universal common ancestry is the history of evolution, right?
Mhm.
So that, I mean, it's the most popular version. And then we have intelligent design, 3 different
Mhm.
debates, right?
Mhm.
So a organization in Birmingham who facilitated my discussion with Professor Jeremy Pritchard many years ago, which you can see on YouTube. I got them to basically set it up. So Alhamdulillah, the funding's been sorted, because that was a big thing, right? Because that's a lot of money, and it's been sorted, right? So the funding's been sorted. The venues are sorted. The actual dates have been sent to him as well, so they're in contact with him. And the first thing I wanted to say is, all his fanboys and bots who were continuously attacking us, saying you're backing out the debate, you're scared. They didn't understand that it takes a lot of time to set these things up. You can't just do them willy nilly, right?
Mhm.
Just automatically.
Yeah, they're used to, phone call debates, They pick up the phone and they call someone and they debate with them. I think this is how official debates works. And of course, yeah, even if you said to him, let's debate tomorrow, I don't think he would have agreed. He would say, I'll give me some time to prepare. Anyways, so when it comes to these kind of official debates, and when you want to go into like specialized topics, of course it takes time. Plus, we've got things to do. We're busy people, you know. We're not like sleeping on a mattress somewhere in the middle of the road, you know. We got nothing to do in our lives. Making 3 hour content in the middle of the night, right? This is not what we're doing. If this is what we're doing, then yeah, it makes sense. But everyone's got his own things to do, right?
Yeah.
So, the last couple of months, I was not even in the UK, right? I was around the world, going here and there, the US, going
Yeah.
there, going this and that. Yeah,
You were traveling around with Sneeko and
yeah. We were in the US. I was also in Turkey. I was in different places. So I'm still traveling again, like in a couple of weeks or something. So the thing is, everyone is traveling, is doing things. You got your own things. You're traveling. I see you as well around
Mm,
the world with Air. So the thing is, these people don't understand. Like, we've already got certain things that are scheduled,
yeah.
and we're not really we are not the challenger. People need to understand that, right? Like, we
Mm,
did not go to this person who's not able to conduct a discussion without cursing and, and behaving like a child. We're not the ones who went to people like this, because we don't entertain usually people like this. He was the challenger. He was the one who made the video, and he's the one who needs to aid that, because he's the
yeah.
challenger, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's how it works. And yeah, I got many of these children, yes, sending emails and this and that while you're running away from. But they were actually very. I barely saw them in the midst of the tens of thousands of people coming. I barely saw them, to be honest. I like they gradually slow down, then they completely disappeared. Like they thought about something else. Maybe they were hassling you a bit more, because I said, brother Sabur is going to announce, right? I was like, leave me alone, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's funny.
I mean, a lot of people don't realize,
Mm,
who are out there trying to challenge us and stuff, that, they're not the most important thing. I mean, for me, I'm having discussions on my channel with academics, right? People right at the top. I've just had James Shapiro, one of the top evolutionary biologists in the world, right? He was on my channel just a few, what, 2, 3 weeks ago. I have many academics lined up. I also have a whole bunch of discussions with philosophers, right? Atheist philosophers who don't necessarily agree with me on everything. So, I mean, for me, this guy is not important, because he's definitely not a professor. In fact, I found out a few more things about him. He actually tried to study at university. He tried to do a master's in chemistry, and he
mhm,
dropped out
mm,
because he wanted to basically go around playing music and move to another city. Then he tried it again, and then he basically couldn't complete it again. So twice he was basically a failure. And
mm,
then he ended up getting a master's in science education, which is not a full science degree. That's just about science education. It's about, not a specialist degree good enough for him to debate James Shapiro, because James Shapiro is a chemist.
mhm,
So, when you have someone like James Shapiro, who has a PhD, who's actually a professor, and this guy, I actually found a video of his, someone sent it to me, in which he's trying to basically say, well, the term professor was tongue in cheek, and I was teaching at this place, and it's just like, what are you talking about? If you're not a professor, don't put it in your title.
mm,
Don't go around, using this very prestigious title when you yourself, you act like a man child. If you
mm,
watch his video, the way he's acting, right? He's acting like a man child. He acts like a man child on Twitter as well. And the funniest thing is, he left almost 19 comments in the space of less than half an hour on my YouTube channel when I announced that I'm setting this up. And he was saying things like, oh, it's not going to happen. And it's like, him and his followers, they were trying to say that I'm a coward because I haven't set it up, when it
mm.
takes time to set these things up, right? And
And
so
when
yeah,
and when you're the one who sent the challenge, so this is the funniest thing that I could hear. Like, if we sent you a
yeah,
challenge, how can you claim that we don't want to debate? The last thing we're gonna do is to publicly say, okay, let's have a discussion, right? So it's
yeah,
just like, but yeah, this idea of man child, because a lot of people hear us saying these things, but they need to understand, like, there was a common kind of response or reply that people got when they went on his channel. They should
yeah,
have not went on his channel anyway. So Muslims, when we talked about him, of course they went to comment, right, about, oh, the debate, they made a video, etc. All of them had the same thing to say. He started cursing me, he started insulting me, he started doing this. I just
yeah,
told him, So even random people, like I would like the last thing I would do is to be responding to random people on YouTube comments. I probably will not have time to do anything in my life. I gotta be really, really, someone who's got nothing to do in his life to be looking at every random comment and then responding to them and starting a debate with them. So that was like funny as well. But it seems like he's really
Yeah,
got nothing
a
to
lo-
do in his life.
people have said the same thing to me, and I've seen it. I've seen it in my own YouTube community page. I was so surprised that he was just continuously commenting. I didn't even respond to his comments. I just ignored him.
Hmm.
And then his entire attitude shows he's a narcissist. He's really big on his ego and the way that he's projected. Yet he likes to insult others, which is fine. That's what these internet atheists do. But then you should be able to take it. If you can give it, you can take it. When people criticize him, and even in the debate with James Shapiro, not James Shapiro, James Tor, he was like pointing out, well, you said this about me, you said I'm clueless, and he's really offended. You could tell that he's got very thin skin, but if you're willing to dish it out, then you should be able to take it. It shouldn't be a matter of being so thin skinned and being essentially a snowflake, an online snowflake.
Hmm. Yeah, and but this is the thing. I believe that James Stewart made a mistake to speak to him to begin with. Like, he shouldn't
Yeah,
go down the level of an individual like this. I think whoever you are, if you got a specific level of respect, prestige, a specific level of education, specific level of a common courtesy, you shouldn't go down the level to engage with people like this. Of course, you want to of course deal with him his own way, which is why you wanted to talk to him. I personally
yeah.
wouldn't entertain him even for 5 minutes. I don't think he's worth it from from my own perspective. And people like this will always exist. But the thing is this, yeah. If you for you to put him in his space, on his place, you gotta have to behave with him somewhat in a way that is closer to his behavior. Yeah, of course, it's not going to be the same. You're going to behave with him respectfully. You're going to behave with him assertively, is what you said. You're going to be very patient, which is going to irritate him even further.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, look, he's the sort of person that deserves to be at Speaker's Corner,
oh yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And this is why I didn't want to have a back and forth online. I didn't
Mhm.
want to do that because he is somebody that you can tell is quite cowardly just by the way he is, the way he talks. He's quite feminine, right? If you just look at his way of behaving, right, you can tell this is the sort of person that gets rattled. And if you watch him in the debate with James Tor, what you see is a lot of insecurity and a lot of projection,
Mhm.
right? So what I'm going to do during the debate is I'm actually going to analyze him live in front of the audience when he talks, because he is somebody that's really reliant on a particular script, a particular way of doing things, and he's put himself on a very high sort of place. He's basically telling people, I am a science communicator, I know what I'm talking about, and bragging about his credentials. And when James Tor asked him, well, here are some simple equations, can you just explain them, can you just write on the board, and he just wrote some simple things, he refused to engage. And you can actually see this in the debate. And
Mhm.
what you can also see in the debate is that he continuously throws out these insulting remarks where he can't justify them. So, for example, many academic discussions involve a lot of cross referencing, a lot of discussions on nuanced issues. It's very easy for somebody to get something wrong. I, in
Mhm.
fact, picked up a book published by Cambridge University, and there was some mistake that was made on the first page, some grammatical mistake. So you can have all these types of nuanced discussions, and you're bound to make some form of mistakes. But what he would do is anything that he thought was a mistake on the other end, he'd simply say, well, that's a lie. How do you know that's a lie, or if that is something where somebody just misunderstood your point, or they have a different point, or they're using a word in a different context to what you're using a
Mhm.
particular word in? So I could technically say, well, according to your own standard, you're a liar because you say you're a professor, but you're not a professor. Oh, it's tongue in cheek. No, you're a liar. Well, I'm not going to say you're a liar. I'm just going to say you're a charlatan. There's a difference, right? There's
Mhm.
actually a difference. You want to project a particular image about yourself, which is why you've taken on the label of professor. But what we realize about him is that his level of insult doesn't match, I'm sorry to say, it doesn't match that of an adult. You can tell that because he's dealing with young students and he has to be relevant for them, he, being a middle-aged man, he still needs to talk in a way that's kind of like a wrestling match trash talker, right? He's got this, childish level of engagement with people. And it's so sad because you can see a lot of his audience, they probably think you're kind of pushing it, you're kind of embarrassing us, you're kind of overdoing it. And you'll see even atheists commenting after the James Tour debate that they were disgusted by Dave Farina's behavior, because there's some things that are just cringe. They're
Mhm.
just cringe. They're not what you call rhetorical takedowns. They're just cringe. They just make you look ridiculous.
Mm. Yeah, and the biggest problem is he doesn't realize it. He thinks this is like, but there are this cultish kind of behavior, which is mostly Pajeets following him, right? A big cultish, a big cultish behavior of certain people who are low IQ who follow him, and they just cheer him up and then make him fall more down inside this delusion that he has in his head of, oh yeah, this is actually, oh, I'm great, I'm awesome, I'm doing great. This is how the way I'm such a brave person, this and that. So this is sometimes what the internet does to you when you linger in the comments too much and start convincing
Yeah,
yourself this is the
yeah.
case.
And he's also like, when it comes to just to show you his level of self-awareness, he had a debate with James Tor, which he lost. And he lost not just because of the fact that he act like a he acted like a complete man child. He
Mhm.
also lost because his audience could see he's got this bravado that, oh, I could do this, I could do that. And he's being asked, all right, big man, solve this, do this. And he can't. He can't.
Mhm.
He's just standing there like a muppet. Then after that debate, James Tor actually had, because remember, James Tor is a professor. He's been publishing in peer-reviewed journals, and he's a scientist. He actually had a debate on the same topic of the origin of life with Lee Cronin, and Lee Cronin is a British professor. They actually had a debate, and that debate was just a few months after the Dave Farina debate, and you could just see James Tor is an academic talking to another academic. The other academic, obviously, they disagree with each other, but there's particular ways of doing things. Why would you think in a million years, you as somebody who failed to get a science degree twice, then you go and challenge a scientist, and then you get called out on basic things that you're supposed to know about, and then you basically lose them. You lose the audience, you lose them through your behavior and the fact that you can't justify your positions.
Mhm.
And then after the debate, you're deluded enough to think that you've won. Like, he actually I believe he actually thinks he won that debate, and he
Mhm.
doesn't realize how badly it went for him.
Yeah, I saw embarrassing people like this. I didn't even want to give them the name, but they lose so bad in the extent of, like, you got all the comments saying that this person is an embarrassment. Is how could you behave like this? But then the guy still believes he won, right? Which is like, level of delusion is crazy for some of these individuals. And as I said, like, they got this kind of sense of online cult that kind of gives them this false sense
Hmm.
of victory, false sense of greatness, false sense of all of that. And yeah, you have to be very careful, which is why I don't read the comments, whether it is like
Yeah,
generally. I
yeah,
avoid reading them as much as I can, whether they're positive or negative. They don't have a good influence on you.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And look at this comment, right? This guy says Dave literally taught organic chemistry at university. Actually, I looked into this, right? I actually have a video to that someone commented on, and I basically looked at this embarrassing episode.
Hmm.
He he actually was not supposed to be teaching.
Hmm.
He has a bachelor's degree that's not good enough to be a professor, definitely. And what happened is, according to him, the teacher freaked out or had some problem or whatever, couldn't teach. Then he was asked to teach in place on the condition or something related to him getting a master's in chemistry. And then he did actually teach. Teaching, that does not mean you become a professor. That simply means you've taught a course at a university. It doesn't make you into a professor. A professor, I mean, for example, my friend Shuaib Ahmed Malik, right? Shuaib is somebody who's at Edinburgh University. He's not a professor. He's a lecturer. He has 2 PhDs. He's still not a professor. So look, whether we agree with somebody or we don't agree with somebody, I have a few professors lined up this week, right? Those professors, whether I agree with them or not, the fact is I have to treat them in a particular way because they are actual professors. And you can't just not even have a PhD and just boost yourself to the level of being a professor. But anyway, about that particular episode of him teaching at university, he failed. He actually failed to get that science degree. Now, I'm going to put the comments, I'm going to put the video in the comment section for anybody that actually wants to see. So he failed twice. Then he got a degree in science education, not his original chemistry thing. He didn't even get a PhD. So just to say, oh, he taught here, so therefore he's a professor. No, he's not a professor. So even these defenses, they're actually half true and half false. Because what they're trying to do is they realized, oh, wait a minute, our guy looks really bad because he's using the title of professor, but he's not actually one. So let's try and defend him by saying, well, he actually did this. That still doesn't go in his favor. And in fact, the more you look at the history of this man, he is a failure. Yeah.
No, I'm saying it's like it's such a low IQ argument to say just someone taught something in university before he's a professor. I'm sure you've given a lecture in a university before. I've given a lecture in a university before. Do we become professors now? Then you put professor for my name now and just start a YouTube channel where I call myself sort of a professor. Anyone can teach. Like, it's not like, you know, you get invitations, you go, you give lectures, you talk in universities, you can teach in classes, can be an assistant to a professor, you can teach. You know, when he's not there, many people can teach. That doesn't mean you become a professor, you know, in a university.
No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. And you can end up actually, like, for example, a few years ago, I did a course on philosophy and morality, and like you could do an entire set of courses. What does it actually mean? It doesn't actually mean anything. So if you don't qualify to be a professor, you just need to keep your mouth shut and say, okay, I'm not a professor, right? I'm not actually an academic from that perspective, and just leave it there. Why do we need to project? Why do we actually need to project and do these things? Now, the other thing I wanted to say to you, and I'm not sure how much time you have, but there's the 3 debates. I wanted to explain why they're split up in this particular way, because I think a lot of the audience does not understand the difference between these terms. So the first thing is Darwinian evolution is the mechanism which is prevailing in academia today. This is the theory of evolution, which is the dominant paradigm. How did life evolve? It evolved via natural selection plus random mutations. That is the story. That's the story of the blind watchmaker. That is the story of the selfish gene. That is the story of the modern synthesis. That is neo-Darwinism. That is what we're dealing with. So we have to have a debate on that particular topic as one particular debate, because you know, in a debate, Muhammad, you have 20 minutes, then you have like 10 minutes, and then you have like a half an hour discussion. It's not actually enough time to put everything together. So that is the topic that I debated with Aaron Ra, right? So if Mr. Farina wants to go see what my arguments, I'll just go see what my arguments with Aaron Ra a few years ago. Now, another debate is universal common ancestry. Universal common ancestry is not a debate about Darwinism, because you could reject Darwinian evolution but still believe in universal common ancestry, right? Universal common ancestry is the idea of the tree of life. Through one origin of life, you have all of life, right? That is a really wide area, and so that needs a separate discussion. The third area is basically the area of intelligent design. Intelligent design is totally different. Intelligent design is a rival's scientific challenge to Darwinism. Now, intelligent design can fit universal common ancestry, or you can have intelligent design without universal common ancestry. So it's not contingent on whether universal common ancestry is true, but it is contingent on Darwinian evolution being wrong.
Mhm.
So these are three different discussions. Now, sadly, um, a lot of the people watching online, they don't actually realize these are three completely different areas and they need different levels of discussion. You can't put them all into one and just have a debate and then go ahead with it and say, okay, it's evolution versus creationism. No, it's not. In fact, I was thinking I may do this with Aaron Ra actually, because I rather not do this with Dave Farina, because he's just not worthy. Funnily enough, I think Aaron Ra is actually better than this guy, right? Because Aaron Ra, funnily enough, has a degree in evolution. He
Uh,
actually has a degree in anthropology, I believe. And,
mhm,
you know, well done to him. He's 62, I believe, right? And he just
mm,
completed it recently. Like, I actually respect that.
mhm,
I actually respect that. And in fact, when Aaron Ra made his response to me back in 2016, right? And we had our debate then in Texas. If you watch anybody online, go watch Aaron Ra's response to me
mhm,
and go watch Dave Farina's response to me, and you will see it's totally different.
mhm,
Aaron Ra is more learned. You can tell he's more learned,
mhm,
and his level of rhetoric, right, is not childish. Yeah, it's, he also likes to, get under people's skin and, insult them, and he's got that, but he does it in a way that's more like elevated.
mhm,
It's more like it's more like it's more rhetorical, as opposed to this guy who's just, it just sounds childish. He
mhm,
just calls people morons, says this guy's whatever, this guy's whatever. It's very, very sort of childish. So that's why it has to be three debates. It
mhm.
can't actually be one debate. So I hope that it's clear to the audience about that, because what I don't want, and this is something I'm going to just say now, because if this happens during the debate with Mr. Farina, I'm going to call him out on this. The mechanism of evolution, the current mechanism of Darwinian evolution, don't bring in arguments for universal common ancestry there, right?
Mhm.
That's, that's what these guys usually do. They like to conflate things. Oh, um, we have this type of we've established common ancestry between these two species, therefore Darwinian evolution is true. They use the fallacy of equivocation. I want to split these debates. In
Mhm.
fact, during the Aaron Ra debate, and this is one of the problems I was having, is that Darwinian evolution and the tree of life and everything was just put into one. And
Mm.
even though Darwinists usually do believe in universal common ancestry, I want to separate out everything, right?
Mhm.
Lastly, universal common ancestry, even if universal common ancestry is true, intelligent design can still be true,
Mm.
right? I mean, I don't believe universal common ancestry is true, but you see, what happens with a lot of these atheists, Muhammad, is they don't understand that each one of these is even a separate area. They think it's all one. They
Mm.
think like it's like, okay, I've got this book, right? I've got this book. So in this book, I have one fact. Because of that, the entire book is factual. Or I have this book and this one thing is false. Therefore, the whole book is false. Like
Mhm.
they have a very simplistic way, and you have to separate out things if you
Mhm.
really want to get to the bottom of them.
That is true. Yeah, yeah. 100. Like the thing is, uh, people they need to understand there is specialized fields, right? And there are people who are laymen, and there's a separation always between these two. And you need to understand, okay, the specialized people, they do things in a specific way, and the laymen need to understand this is how things are done. And these are separate fields, as you said. Like each of them, you could have a debate on. You could have a debate on very, very simple things, right? Within, like, even when we say the rain evolution, you don't have enough time to talk about it, right? You don't have enough time to go into the whole discussion of everything together, right? So
Mm.
and even that video that I made, or that we made, there was different sections, and people can see you talking about everything separately, because everything is its own separate thing, and everything has its
Yeah.
own separate arguments, and everything has its own separate refutations. You don't put everything together in one basket. And as you said, they make this mistake all the time, especially lay people. They make this mistake. Say, okay, we have found these fossils they have no clue about, and therefore evolution is true, right? Like they put the whole basket together, like, okay, We found the fossil somehow. So how can you account for it? Of course, evolution is true. What do you mean? Like you don't know what evolution means, or you don't understand the details and particulars. And how can you explain this idea of finding a fossil differently? Yes, that's why I personally take myself, because look, I'm already doing something. Alhamdulillah, you've been like the leading voice in the Muslim community in the West when it comes to evolution. In anyways, like we don't have anyone else doing that, so this is more your field. That's why I already have something that I'm doing, right? Something that I'm focusing on. So it's great to have someone who's gonna deal with these people, in that specific field, especially a person like this, because there's a lot of benefit, I think, when it comes to the youth. There's a lot of youth that follow him, and a lot of youth that think evolution is just because society says so, therefore they believe it. So inshallah, there would be a benefit in it. Even though I was hoping for someone better, a better individual, but we got nothing else that we can do.
No, definitely. I just want you to watch something, right? This is really embarrassing. He was asked a question whether he's a professor, and he says something, and these are his own words. So I'm going to play his video because I saw this thing today or yesterday, and it was really like ridiculous, right?
After that, I went over to California. I went to UC Santa Cruz to do a master's program in synthetic organic chemistry. But I didn't really last long. I dropped out in my second semester. I wanted to move up to San Francisco and play music. So I was there a couple years playing in some different bands. And all the while I was supporting myself with substitute teaching and tutoring jobs, that sort of thing.
Okay, so firstly, if you're going to shout about your credentials, why did you drop out and go and do music? Like, okay, let's get to the bottom of this story.
and now you see the wording he used, I didn't last long. That's a very interesting wording. That's a very interesting wording to use. I think people need to realize, like, the terms that we use, they have a psychological package behind them. When I say I didn't last long, that shows that, look, you couldn't handle that specific thing, right?
Yeah. Watch how he ended up teaching at university and what happened. Because what happens is, it's really funny. I'm just going to say it and then we can watch it, right? He ended up teaching because the actual teacher wasn't present. And that was only conditional on him passing a master's. But he ended up not passing that master's because he dropped out for, again, another reason. So it's really cringe. Just watch the rest of this, right?
And then I moved down to Los Angeles, again, for music opportunities. And when I first got here, I was doing a lot of teaching jobs, a lot of tutoring, private high schools, things like that. And but I eventually got this teaching job for organic chemistry at this little trade university here in the LA area.
Okay. Little trade university. What does that mean? Anyway, let's watch this.
And it was a pretty lucky break, because with a bachelor's degree, I was only supposed to teach the laboratory portion. But on the first day, the lecture instructor had this freak out. He just took off. And so my boss came up to me and he said, look, you got to go teach the lecture because there's nobody here.
What the hell kind of university is this? Bro, have you ever heard of a university where they're just like, you go ahead, that guy freaked out. Like, those are nobody else. And there's nobody else. So you're not qualified, but you're going to teach, right? But anyway, watch it. It gets funnier.
So I taught the lecture for that semester. And then the following semester, I taught the Organic 2 course as well. And I did a good job for both of those. Students seemed to respond well. So they offered me the job permanently, but contingent on me getting a master's at the same time.
Okay, so for him, like, he wasn't supposed to do that job, but he was actually given that because the guy just had a freak out. So then they're like, okay, you go ahead and do it. But then he had to pass his master's in order for him to continue teaching, but he didn't continue. He didn't actually do his master's. So these are his own words, right?
So I went over to Cal State Northridge to give a second shot at a master's degree in chemistry. And I did that for a few years. I was researching and studying over at CSUN, and all the while teaching this organic chemistry course, which I did for a few years. So I think about 8 times I taught the course. So I really honed that material. I got good at explaining that material, but through a bunch of bureaucracy, quite frankly.
Okay, just watch this part, right? What does this mean? Through a bunch of frankly, red tape. Okay, let's just hear him out.
I lost that job, and
Come on, bro. Come on. Be honest with us. What happened? Anyway.
And along with it, the funding for my master's program. So I had to withdraw yet again from the master's program.
No, you didn't withdraw the first time, right? You basically dropped out to go play some music, right? The second time round, you lost your job at that whatever university. It sounds like a banana university. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm happy to say it could be a really good university, but you didn't advertise well for it, Dave. Anyway, so he failed the second time to get a degree in organic chemistry. And funnily enough, his debate with James Shapiro, James Tor, James is actually a chemist. He has a PhD in chemistry. And here you are as a failure. You failed twice to get a degree. You lost your job at that, trade university, and you want to carry on with the professor title.
And but I didn't want these lectures to evaporate into the ether. I wanted them to remain in some tangible form, even if I wasn't going to be teaching there anymore. So I decided to record them to camera, just as I would be speaking to my class, and put them online. And that was the birth of Professor Dave Explains.
All right. Okay. So let's get this right. Let's get this story straight. Yeah. Firstly, I'm sorry to say, right, I'm going to put it on mute and I'm going to just see him. Like, if I put him on mute and he's just talking like he is here, yeah, he doesn't look like himself. He looks like he's talking about something embarrassing. He's not very confident. His body language, his eyes are shifting. It's like, look at that. It's like he's got this something to be ashamed of, right? So this actual video is actually called, "Are you a real professor? Are you a real professor?" So he's answering how he went from, getting a bachelor's degree to ending up basically with the Professor Dave channel. And in it, he basically explains to us his underwhelming academic rise. And that's basically Professor Dave, the brand. This is how it came about, according to himself. So if he's going to say, "Oh, you are straw manning me, you need to steel man me, this doesn't really represent me," well, these are your own words. And it's embarrassing. It's giving me secondhand embarrassment. Honestly, this is so pathetic.
I think what he had this dream, he was given he was, they found, "We do have any replacements, please? Can you teach these people, please? Can you fill wherever this university is that don't have any replacements when someone is not there all of a sudden?" So they have to bring someone who is unqualified or not qualified. Say, "Okay, come, you're going to replace him." And then while he was replacing them and teaching, okay, and they said, "You know what, maybe I'm good at this. And they're telling me to get a master's. So let me record this. And in the meantime, I'll get a master's. And my dream is to be a professor. So let me put Professor Dave on my YouTube channel because I'm going to get there eventually, right?" And then he ended up not getting there. And then the Professor Dave title stuck with him. And then, of course, that's why people are asking him. That's why he had to make this video. Thing is, look, a lot of people would say, "Okay, these are okay, we're not talking about arguments. We're talking about him and this and that." We wouldn't get into that if he admitted it. We said that you're not a real professor. He made it. No, I am. You guys are lying. You guys are Mr. President, whatever it is. No, I teach. I did do that. I did do this. We wouldn't get into that if he admitted and actually humbled himself, which I don't think exists in his dictionary, and actually admitted to his, actual level of education. If he did that, no, we wouldn't even discuss this idea. When it comes to the particular details of, the science, this is going to happen in the debate. Don't worry. You're welcome to watch the debate for that. Right now, we're addressing this thing in which he pretended as if it is not the case, and made all of these straw man arguments of, "Oh, no, I taught in this university, I did this, I did that." So,
absolutely, and so let's actually look into something which I think is, worth us mentioning, right? After all of this. And this is UCL. I don't know what university he went to. So this is a science education MA. I've never heard of science education as a master's, but if you're a science teacher or educator looking to further your career or want to become a science educator and engage with the theoretical aspects of science education before your career begins, This may be the ideal degree for you, blah, 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 blah. Okay. A general education, science education degree is not the same as you going up against a chemist who has a PhD, who's a professor, who's publishing peer-reviewed papers, right? And then you want to challenge him on chemistry. What is your credentials? Oh, you tried twice and you failed. And you got to teach a course because the guy didn't, had to freak out. And then you were supposed to teach that course as long as you were going to pursue a master's, and you failed. Like, I mean, he calls himself Professor Dave, right? We should just call him Failing Farina, because I can see so many failures. He's failing at one thing, failing at another thing. And then I'm thinking something into myself as well, right? Why is he made a 3-hour response on our video, right? Why couldn't he just do something simple, like just say, okay, let's have a debate, let's have a live stream? Why? Because you know what it is with him, what I realized, he's very comfortable in his little environment, which is why I want to have a face-to-face debate with him. I want to take him out of his comfort zone. He's very comfortable because he wants to create a situation where he controls everything. He, you make a response against him, and then he makes a response against you, and then, you go back and forth. And a lot of people don't follow the science. What I want to do with him, right? He wants to anchor his boat near the shore. I want to take him, inshallah, to the deep waters. So you said this particular statement. You're the science educator. I'm the villain in your story. I'm the creationist. I'm the intelligent design proponent. I'm the evil one. That's fine. You're the science educator. That's fine. Explain this to me. And I want to take him down those deep waters, right? Because now you have to remember, from his perspective, he's got a lot to lose. So I would be very surprised. If he comes out of these debates and people are going to look at him and say, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Because with James Tor, his ego was damaged, his prestige was damaged, his interaction with his own audience was affected. People started thinking, whoa, is this the guy? Now what I want to do is I want to take it broader than that. I want to show philosophically this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. When it comes to the science, he doesn't know what he's talking about. When it comes to even the way arguments are structured, this is the thing. I want him, and I'm sure he's going to watch this, right? Because he saw our previous videos and he responded to them. I want you, right? I want you to come up with your best argument. So with Darwinian evolution, you saw, and this is the thing I'm going to say to him right now. I made an argument with Aaron Ra when it came to Darwinian evolution. Go watch the bloody debate. Go watch my argument, the way I structured it, and then plan an argument of your own and how to counter mine. When it comes to universal common ancestry, put together an argument. When it comes to intelligent design, put together an argument, because this guy is really poor when he steps outside of scripts. Because I thought about something. He has 3 million subscribers, and I thought, okay, how did this happen? And if you look at his history, it's very clear how this happened. He was making educational videos for youngsters, which is a very nice area to get involved in. And if you are going to be sitting down explaining to youngsters how they can pass in their A-levels, in their GCSEs, whatever the American equivalent is, if you can do that, and even with undergraduate, if you can explain certain concepts to them, of course people are going to watch you and subscribe you. But then once you build your audience using that generic knowledge, which anybody can get, which anybody you can learn, you can go to Khan Academy and literally take a script and amend it, and you could just do it yourself. You could do that quite easily and build yourself a nice audience. But then what he did is he overstepped. He started challenging real academics, thinking that people are going to follow him because he's got all these basic videos, when he's got a terrible academic record. His academic record, he should be hiding. I'm surprised that he didn't realize that video is going to be seen by people who he's going to be challenging, and they're going to be laughing at him like we are. I would never put out like that. I'd rather just ignore it.
Yeah, you should. In the beginning, you will not fall into that idea, because you will not call yourself something that you're not. Like, I'm not going to call myself doctor. I'm not going to call myself a title of, I'm a scholar, and then put myself even in, in different fields now we're talking. I'm not going to be using these titles that I'm not, and then end up falling into the idea, oh, I need now to justify a lie that I've already started with, right? So you're not going to be in that position to begin with, in the embarrassing position in which, you need to go do further embarrassments by talking about your failures, of how you could not reach that level in which, of the title that you're calling yourself at the moment, right?
That's it.
So a lot of people are
And
asking. Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Some
So I
people are
was,
asking.
yeah,
You
go on,
can
go on,
tell
go
them
on. What were you saying?
the debate they're asking about that. You can tell them that.
They're asking the dates. Okay, so basically, Beacons of Sanctity, who set up my debate with a real professor, Jeremy Pritchard, a few years ago, they're a wonderful organization based in Birmingham. And the people in that organization are linked to what's it called? Green Lane Mosque, right?
Mhm.
They're linked to all these other mainstream the community in Birmingham. They're linked to the Islamic societies. So the debate, the first one is University of Birmingham, and the other two debates are also in Birmingham. It was actually this is one of the things I wanted to say on this stream. Normally, setting up a debate takes time because of university societies, exams, which are happening in this period, and all of this. But something else this time was very, very difficult. There are pro-Palestine camps which are built up at these university sites, right? There is huge debate and discussion politically right now. There's problems between the universities and the Muslim societies, and also the pro-Palestinian societies. There's a lot of this stuff that's happening, and I've been, when I've been speaking to people to try and set this up, that's been a barrier as well. So, and that plus the money. So now we actually have, everything pretty clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the the dates. Thursday, 3rd October is Darwinian evolution a fact. Tuesday, 8th October is universal common ancestry true. Is intelligent design science? Is Friday, the 11th of October. Now, it's very hard to set up debates. Firstly, I've managed to set them up within a close time period, which itself is very difficult, right? And that I've done purely for his ease. So he doesn't turn around and say, oh, I have to come to the UK for an entire month because one debate is there, one debate. I'm going to say, no, all you need to do is he could literally land on Thursday and he could leave
10 days
he could leave next Saturday. No, it's 8 days. 8 days. He could literally land on Wednesday and leave on Saturday. So it's like total 8-9 days. Even 8, right? He could do. So I wanted to destroy any excuse not to have these debates, right? And also I put down the timings, 2 hours. Like, to be very honest with you, Muhammad, 2 hours is not enough to discuss each of these areas. It's not enough. It's really not enough. However, you have to put a cutoff point. You can't just be like, okay, let's debate for 4 hours. Do you understand? However, I do believe the debates will be followed on afterwards with him probably crying that, oh, we need to have another debate. I'll bring him back again, inshallah. No worries. I'll bring him back next year. I can't do it again this year. Bring him back again next year, maybe in London this time or whatever. But the fact is that I wanted to destroy any ability for him to say, oh, it's too long. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. I wanted it to be so crystal clear that if he backs out now, people are going to be like, you're a coward. You're a complete coward,
Especially that he's the one who kept saying it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, all right. Like, alhamdulillah. Anyways, as we said, inshallah, should be benefiting it for
Absolutely.
the youngsters that are going to come and watch, because this is not like about us and him. It's more as a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And it's more for the benefit of people.
Absolutely. One last thing I wanted to mention before you go, and thank you for jumping on without obviously agreeing to a time before. I know you're super busy traveling. 2 things, in fact. One is what you're up to. I'll ask you that last. But the second last thing I want to say is I think his entire strategy because if you go to his YouTube, you can see what's going on. His entire strategy is to be relevant, he needs to refute people who have a lot of following, because
Mm,
he himself has only built up a following based upon basic educational videos. But anybody that watches those basic educational videos, they're going to watch it and they're going to move away. I found something strange. His views for his normal educational videos are far, far, far lower than these refutations he does, right? These
mm,
attacks he does on people. So I think what basically happened is he came across your channel, and mashallah, your channel is one of the fastest growing channels for the dawah. And he thought, wait a minute, this channel on average, every single random video of Muslim Lantern talking to somebody on the streets of London is getting 100, 200, 300, 400,000 views. Just literally you talking to some guy is just going viral everywhere with shorts. So he thought, wait a minute, I can make this refutation video and then I can basically galvanize my support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the fact that he uses this refutation type culture to try and boost his algorithm, to actually use that force against him. Because from this debate, there's going to be certain things his audience is going to see. Wait a minute, Dave was asked this question. He didn't know the answer. Wait a minute, Dave is talking about this topic. And remember something, Dave is somebody who has projected himself to be a science communicator. And the problem is when you project yourself to be a science communicator and you actually want to say, I am on that level, then you have to be worth your salt. If you end up in a debate being asked questions and you don't know the answer to those questions, those are the questions or the things that you've been talking about which are relevant to the debate,
mhm.
it's going to make you look real bad. And that's my hope, inshallah, that I'm going to show his audience actually he's not even good at scripting.
Mhm.
His
Yeah, no,
scripts only are skin deep.
yeah, no. I've noticed this like trend of people making videos generally, right? And then using my picture, my name in the title, whatever it is, right? And the thing is, you get this. This happens when people see, okay, there is some sort of a level of, there's a distraction. There is views. Let's do this. We'll get audiences. We'll get clicks. We'll get views. This is what people try to do. I don't give these people the time of the day, and I think there was a big problem that happened in the past few years within the du'at online. When they got well known or the channel started to pick up, they gave useless individuals the time of the day. They gave them the time of the day. They discussed with them. They talked with them, and that's how these people became known. Sadly, right? That's how these people got a level of popularity. And I think it's very important that we don't give these people time of the day. So it's very important who you respond to. In this case, this person's got 3 billion views, so 10 times the amount of subs that I have. 3 million subs. So 10 times the amount of subs. Of course, like if you look at the views, it's not necessarily like reflective of that amount of subscribers if you make a comparison when it comes to the views. But still, that is the reason we would actually give a response to an individual like that. If he had,
Yeah.
like, let's say, less or anywhere relative, we would not even give him the time of the day because
Yeah.
he's not qualified, he's not got the manners, none of that. So we look at the overwhelming benefit, which is the idea that there is a lot of people who are familiar with his name because he used to teach kids, and teach general stuff. So I think, yeah, we've got to be, in general, as Muslims, very careful about who we give attention to and who we respond to and who we allow on our platforms and stuff like that. And I can see, of course, why he did it. And you can look at the views on that video in comparison to his other videos as well, right?
He's doing
Uh,
poorly. He's
yeah,
doing poorly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's doing poorly. And this is the thing about YouTube, right? That if your content is not, say, refutational or controversial, your views go down. So he's just trying to be relevant by attacking us, right? Which is fine. He's now, dug himself in a hole. The last thing I want to say to you is, you've obviously been traveling around. People know Sneeko. Sneeko's a big influencer who accepted Islam. And you're dealing with a lot. I am the Warner as well. I believe you were with him. And a lot of these du'at, you guys have been linking up. So what have you been up to, and where can people find out what the latest updates are?
Yeah, subhanAllah. So, of course, I was just in the US for the AIM conference. And I was in New Jersey for like 3 days. It was a conference for 3 days there. So met the brothers there. Farid was there. Jake was there. Other brothers were there. Of course, Sheikh Uthman was there. He's making the invitation. Sheikh Kareem, etc. So Alhamdulillah, we did like a few lectures, uploaded them on the channel. Then I went to New York. We did some street da'wah, which I'm uploading as well. And
The videos are coming out.
yeah. Where I did also the 1 minute podcast with Nico as well.
Oh,
Where
nice,
I was in New
nice,
York,
nice.
because I was in New York that time. Yeah, and we did some da'wah with him as well, and the brothers. And then I went to Chicago. I done like a few programs, Brother Eddie, a few podcasts. One is released, another one is going to be released as well. And then I have this project, yani, in Turkey, in which I had to go to. I'm still actually in that project. Inshallah, I'll announce it soon. I'm not going to give any details about it yet, but it is taking a lot of time. I have to say that. So it's taking a lot of my time. I'm always back and forth there. And there's another thing I'm working on, which is to do with because you do a lot of private sessions. A lot of people request private sessions because they don't want to do it online. Of course, online I'm already doing the non-Muslim Q&A today. Actually, I'm supposed to be doing one in a couple of hours or something. Do the non-Muslim Q&As, do the Muslim Q&As, do the these types of videos, which are available for everyone, right? But a lot of people prefer private kind of sessions, private kind of discussions. So they send always requests on that. So I'm making a website. A website is done, actually. I'm going to release it soon, inshallah. People can actually book that. So it can be organized for me, because obviously affecting my personal life as well, the timings, how long the session takes, or how long the discussion takes. So that's another thing which I've been working on. So there's a lot of things, to be fair, that are happening back and forth. But alhamdulillah,
Definitely, and I would recommend everybody to follow, the channel, and to follow the discussions, and more importantly, brothers and sisters, Muhammad Ali. One of the reasons I picked up on his channel a few years ago is because he never talks about something outside of the Quran and the Sunnah from the perspective that he doesn't just make up something, right? Everything is grounded, is referenced. And that is really important, because sometimes in the dawah, we are using the kufri perspective, or we're using a particular thing which has no basis in Islam. And that's dangerous, especially if you're on YouTube and you're talking about Islam and, these types of things. And alhamdulillah, you don't sugarcoat anything.
Alhamdulillah.
You're very direct with what you do. All right. Any last message you want to give to the audience before we...
No, that's it. That's it, inshallah. May Allah Azza wa Jal make this for his sake first, is that we try, we purify our intention. This is not about like us as individuals or appearing as victorious or strong. This is more about, it's not an individual thing. It's more about the message reaching the people, more people understanding what the truth is, more people learning about Islam. This is in the end the goal. And we recommend anyone, if you're watching Dave or watching anyone, you got nothing to lose in picking up a copy of the Quran and reading it. Even you disagree with it, you don't believe in it, of course, just pick it up and read it. You might be surprised. That's all I'm going to say. And we have no issues in answering questions. I always do these regular sessions, which are open for everyone. Literally, anyone can click the link and ask questions. Just in a couple of hours, I'm supposed to do one. People come, they ask questions, and you're welcome to come to Brother Sabur and ask questions. He does Q&As as well. And we're welcoming you. So read the Quran. If you've got questions about it, you're welcome to ask. In the end, there's a bigger picture than us and him and anyone that you can think about, which is the truth, and where we're ending up when we die in the afterlife. That is the bigger picture that we're all trying to reach.
Absolutely. Jazakallah khair for your time and jumping on the stream at such a short notice and giving your insight. So everybody watching, please do join his coaching program or his one-to-one sessions. Inshallah, they're going to be of many benefits. So Jazakallah khair, Muhammad Ali. Assalamu alaikum. All right, guys, it was really, really nice speaking to Muhammad. It's been a while since we've had a chat. So there is the link for anybody that wants to join and have a chat about this discussion. So I've put out the StreamYard link, but I am going to be asking people to switch on their camera in the back end. They can switch it off afterwards to make so that I know that they're a real person and they're not actually fake. Sorry, I don't have a smaller glass, so it's going to look like I'm drinking water out of this huge bottle. I'm going to look like a complete jungli, as they say in the Urdu language. But I'm sorry, that's what I'm going to have to do. Bismillah. I need some cups in here, man. And I'm on the keto diet, so that also makes you thirsty. All right. While you guys, there you go. There is the link. Somebody was saying in the chat, Dave Farina had a debate and he lost to some flat earther. Firstly, how is that possible? I thought that was his thing. I mean, obviously, I don't believe in the flat earth, but how the hell can you? How can you lose to a flat earther in a debate? That's quite funny. And when you join the chat, then don't when you join the chat, then you have to switch on your camera so I know that you're a real person. And also in the private chat, you can leave your questions so I can put them in order of priority. Yeah, so the thing is, you can be anonymous on camera, no problem. But on the back end that I can see, you need to switch the camera on, because or else I don't know if you're a real person. And I've done a webinar. The webinar was on evolution, atheism, whatever the usual stuff I do a few years ago, last year. And somebody joined in the webinar and started playing pornography. Like literally, there's crazy people out there. So I'm not going to let someone join the stream unless you switch on the camera in the back end. Then you can switch it off again, and then I could get you to join. But definitely, like, horrible, man. And then obviously, you can get a community strike on YouTube. Pin the link, brother. Yes, I need to pin the link. I do need to pin the link. I need some mods, guys. I'm so bad with technology. Man, where's YouTube? YouTube must be here somewhere. Oh, man. Okay. I am going to go and pin it. Oh, my brother Faisal. How you doing, my brother? Wa alaikum salam. How you doing, brother?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Doing okay. How about yourself?
Good, good. Good to see you again.
Nice seeing you as well. Let me actually move the... I've got a couple of screens, so when I have it up there, it looks weird when I'm looking up.
You look like a techie guy.
I look like a techie guy? Mashallah.
Yeah, like you look like you know how to do these things. I'm just really bad at this stuff. So okay,
to each their own, right? To each their own, alhamdulillah.
To each their own, absolutely, to each their own. So yeah, I've made the debate announcement with Dave Farina, and it's really funny because a lot of his followers were just continuously attacking me, saying, "Oh, you're a coward, you're backing out the debate," and it was like they expected me to set up debates at such short notice, like instantly. And it's so funny because I'm the one who actually challenged him. So why would I challenge him and then run away? It just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, yeah, that's going ahead.
They'll say anything to sort of undermine you. So it's more of a character assassination that's happening, just to undermine the person. It's ad hominem, as you would expect, right? But to be honest, in one way, and I want to sort of understand the rationale behind it, because sometimes it's again, it's a subject. But do you think by you debating him, you're giving him legitimacy? rather than because I know it's a fine line, and I just want to sort of understand.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in this case, no, because his behavior, even if somebody was to watch the debate between me and him and mute me, right, and they don't hear me, his own behavior undermines himself. Like, if I was to debate, like I've had many debates with academics over the years, right? If I was to debate a non-academic like Aaron Ra, right? Someone may say, well, you're giving him credibility by debating him. Well, to a certain extent, he already has that credibility in his case because, you know, he's been speaking about the topic for many years. He shares platforms with Richard Dawkins. I'm here talking about Aaron Ra, not he's been in not Dave, and Aaron Ra has been endorsed by Dawkins on many occasions. In fact, the biggest convention in the world, the World Atheist Convention in 2011, I actually went to that. You know, Aaron Ra and what's it called? Richard Dawkins were on stage together. So certain people, like, that's it. They already made it. They're already on a certain level. So you just take them on. This particular guy, I think his own behavior, people won't take him seriously. Like his debate with James Tor, I'm not sure if you saw that. Terrible debating tactics. Like I think, well, it's not that I think, it's true. That was his first formal debate on a topic like that at a university. He was attacking the audience. He was just, you know, like when they were like, he had fans in the audience. He had obviously people in the audience against him. But, you know, it's just like, yeah, at one point he said, as if you all know what the F we're talking about or something. And I was like, what the hell? Like, you know, this, like, is that the way to talk to the audience? Like, you start attacking the audience. I mean, in the audience, there's just people just who, they may not be on your side, may not be on his side, but you lose them. You actually lose the audience by doing that. Then during the part of in the end, James Tor was asked, and he was asked as well, what do you like about your opponent? Is there anything positive you have to say? And James Tor, you know, being a gentleman, you know, he said, you know, well, in nowadays, you know, being married and having children and basically a stable family, that's an achievement. He has a good. Yeah. I mean, in the West, as you know, the family structure is under attack by wokeism. Yeah. So it's you know, if I come across a Christian or even a Hindu or any usually is religious people who have a nuclear family, I'll say, well done, you have a nuclear family, right? So anyway, he praised him for that. He praised him for the fact that he has good educational content on his YouTube, which is generic, right? Even I would, like, I don't like the guy, but even I would say, actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff, right? And that's how you built your name, because you don't have anything else to go by.
Find something good to say about the other person, definitely.
Yeah, and then he just, when James Tor said something positive about him, but then when he was asked, he just said, well, I'm something about this guy's a liar, and he just started attacking him again. It's so cringe. It was like he has low emotional intelligence. That's one thing about this guy, I would say. He definitely has low emotional intelligence.
Yeah, that's crazy. But speaking of Aaron Ra, I've watched your debate and your discussion with him later on as well. It was one of the most dishonest tactic in debating that I've seen from an individual. Come on and basically attack the definition of a word that is being used and basically point out that, oh, this guy has a different definition of the word from what I understand to be, and that's why I'm not even gonna continue this discussion. That was honestly one of the most dishonest way of debating. The attack he did on the meaning of truth itself.
Yeah, and you have to remember, Aaron Ra's original video was evolution is absolutely a fact, right? Yeah. Which is why I said Darwinian evolution. Also, if you remember from the debate, he tried to say, well, Darwinism has a different meaning in the UK to what it has in America. You have to remember, academic papers are universal. When you write a paper in nature or science or whatever, no one's going to say, well, are you an American? Are you English? Are you using this word? No, it's like, okay, if the guy that you're sharing a stage with, Richard Dawkins, who is a neo-Darwinian, he is somebody known for the selfish gene idea. Obviously, it wasn't his idea. He just popularized it. How can you ignore the word Darwinism when Darwinism is being used in the most popular polemic book of atheism for all of time? The most popular atheist book is The God Delusion. The God Delusion, in its central argument, not on some random page. I still have the pages imprinted on my mind because it's such a famous part of the book. 156, 157 is central argument. His central argument, in which there's like 6, 7 premises. He puts Darwinism, the word Darwinism there. Darwinism shows there's basically no design. Design is an illusion. That's one of the premises. So how can you ignore all of that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. And one of the most important thing in any debate is to come to an understanding of the words that you're using. Otherwise, you're talking over each other. And it's almost as if this person never understood what it meant to do that. To basically say, oh, you keep your definition, I keep my definition, and we'll talk over each other. We'll continue to do that. And you're coming in for a debate. That just goes against the very basics of being able to debate with someone.
Yeah.
If you cannot even agree with the definition of terms, anyway, this is definitely something. I'm not expecting anything more from this Dave Farina. I would say similar sort of tactics probably, or but because they don't necessarily have anything to present.
I would say I smell from him inexperience. Aaron Ra actually has a lot of debating experience, right? He actually debates in a way that shows he's got presence of mind. He sees what the audience is feeling, and then according to that, he adjusts his ability. Now, I do the same thing because I'm a debater. I've been debating for many, many years. I could tell with his debate with James Tor, he wasn't reading the audience. He wasn't reading the room. He wasn't self-aware of how bad he was looking at certain points. He was going into the debate with a particular attitude, and when he was told, here's the pen, write it out, write out the answers to these questions on the board. He's claiming to be the science communicator. And then you refuse to take the pen from your opponent and do that. And remember, we're supposed to be the evil ones. We're the villains in the story. We're the creationists. We're the intelligent design proponents. We're the, science deniers or whatever. We're supposed to not know what the hell we're talking about. Not you. You as, Professor Dave, you're supposed to know what you're talking about. You're supposed to, whatever you're asked, you're supposed to perform. You're a performer. You're supposed to perform. You're supposed to tell the people, yes, I do know what I'm talking about. In this case, he doesn't. He doesn't. And he looks like a complete muppet. He just looks really, really pathetic.
Yeah, looking forward to this. Alhamdulillah, you're good at debating, and inshallah this would be another one, inshallah. Hopefully you'll be able to write another one of these individuals, because these people are popping up left, right, and center, and they just, every time you think you've debunked one of these arguments, another one pops up with something really and it gets more and more absurd as the newer arguments come out. Now, don't even know how to put these together. All right.
Yeah.
I think I'm having some problem with my camera. Okay, that's back. Give me one second. All right, Brother Sabur. So inshallah, yeah. So I'm gonna head out. We're planning to go out, inshallah. Do tune in. I do have a presentation today, inshallah, on our channel on Nu al Islam, and comparing the biblical account and the Quranic account, because one of the things that, and this is something we're planning to do more often, is sort of do away with this myth that the Quran has been copied from the Bible, because the devil, as they say, the devil's in the details, right? When you actually start reading the narratives, then you realize that this narrative in the Quran cannot be copied from the narrative in the Bible, because how much of the when you're looking at the topics that are being discussed, how much of the first topic is in the second topic, right? Is in the second narrative. How much of it is copied over? And it's really interesting when you get into these details, because we're talking about the same thing, but we're talking about two way different perspective, and we're talking about two way different details in those. So inshallah, we'll be looking into that.
Yeah, definitely. May Allah bless you, man.
All right,
Jazakallah
brother.
khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. All right, guys. Firstly, what I want to talk about briefly is zombie scrolling course. So, how many people here have a problem with zombie scrolling? Be honest and tell me, how many people here have a problem with zombie scrolling? Have you done the course? Have you looked at the course? Oops, where's it gone? There we go. Zombie scrolling. Alrighty. How many people here have a problem with zombie scrolling? First, can you say that? How many people here have a problem with zombie scrolling? Let's see what you guys are going to say about this. Just going to take the link, chuck it on. Alrighty. Sorry. Okay. Sometimes I zombie scroll. I haven't signed up. I've bookmarked. How do you know I have it? I think everybody does zombie scrolling to a particular level. Is zombie scrolling limited to the garbage stuff? No. You could do zombie scrolling. I mean, if you're scrolling and it's good content, or it's content that you mindfully want to watch, then it's not zombie scrolling. It's zoom scrolling. Okay. I just got here, is the debate set in stone? Yes, inshallah. I mean, from my end it is, unless this guy backs out. But I don't think he's going to back out. I very much doubt he's going to back out, because that's going to look really, really bad for him, right? So anyway, guys, it's in my pinned comments. Please go and join the zombie scrolling course. This is something I've been pushing out for a while. I believe this. Look, okay, here's a question for you. How do you feel after you've done zombie scrolling? How do you actually feel? How does it make you feel? Can anyone answer that? After you've done some zombie scrolling, how does it make you feel? What does your brain feel like? tired and lost. Yeah, that's how you feel. What the heck is that image? Is that from The Office? You guys, man. You feel tired because what you're doing is you're overstimulating your brain, and then afterwards you can't focus on important actions because you've used up all your dopamine on something ridiculous. Sleepy and tired, right? Awful, drained, eyes hurt, brain fog. Exactly. How much of our life, how many of these goals? What's the point of sending this link so you guys join the zombie scrolling course? And skeptic, if you're not going to switch on your camera, then there's no way you're going to be allowed in to the live stream. I've had enough of those people coming in. Okay. So, do join. This is fantastic. It really it's going to help people stop the scrolling habit. It's going to show you how it's so problematic in your life. It'll make you feel better. It'll make you more productive. It'll make you, inshallah, more spiritual. It'll make you into a better person. And look, we scroll for hours and hours and hours and hours, and we waste so much time, and we need to move out of that. So skeptic, if you want to join the live stream, you have to switch on your camera. Can I add PayPal as a payment method on the course? Okay, fine, I can do that. Okay, skeptic's not switching on his camera. I keep looking at the thing, I can't see it. The other brother, Shuaib Qadi, has switched it on, so I guess I can get him to join, unless skeptic switches on his camera. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Don't waste my time. I'm not going to sit here and just keep waiting for you to switch on your camera. So Shuaib, you're next, and skeptic can switch off his switch on his camera, then you can join, or you can basically get lost. All righty. The second thing, guys, very important. You know what I'm about to say. Every single one of us should be reading at least a few verses a day. Of course, you should be reading way more than that. Download the Quranly app. The Quranly app is fantastic. It's a fantastic app, habit building app, Quran habit building app. It is something which will make you connected with the Creator. It'll make you connected to Allah. It'll make you feel spiritual. One Quranic verse, if you reflect on it, it can change your day. It can change the color of the day. It can change the paradigm by which you look at the world. So do not neglect the Quran. Download the Quranly app. How many people here have the Quranly app, by the way? How many people here have the Quranly app? Sabu doesn't want to respond to any of the points Dave made in his rebuke video. I wonder why. Actually, if I didn't want to respond to those points, what's the best thing I could do? I could just ignore him. Why would I invite him to a debate? I want to have a debate with him so that we can actually look at the entire picture and we can discuss whatever needs to be discussed. If he wants to bring up whatever point he wants to bring up, no problem. I'm not somebody like him hiding behind a screen and making 3-hour videos on people, and although it worked well for him in terms of the YouTube algorithm, but we're going to see what your boy does when he comes here. And remember, each of those points that we're talking about, Darwinian evolution, intelligent design, and universal common ancestry, the onus is on him to make arguments for Darwinian evolution and universal common ancestry. The onus is on me when it actually comes to making an argument for intelligent design. Is there a debate today? No, Mr. Duck, Sahil Shakil. You got dog picture. There's no debate today. It's just a live stream. So, brothers and sisters, download the Quranly app, use it, and it's going to change your life. Skeptic, you haven't switched on your camera. Why haven't you switched on your camera? I'm going to give you another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Shwaib Khaldi switched on his camera. There's somebody else that switched on their camera. You're just wasting my time. Coward. Not worth it.
السلام عليكم أخي.
Wa alaikum salam, Shwaib Khaldi. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing amazing, alhamdulillah. How are you doing?
I'm good. Where are you calling in from?
From Canada.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've been.
alhamdulillah. How's everything?
Everything's good. This coward, right? This coward wanted to join the stream. I asked him to switch on his camera, even on the back end, so I can actually see who this coward is. But he doesn't want to, and he's saying,
Akhi,
"Why?
this is what you call.
Why you
This
want to
is
see
what
my
you
face?
call
Why
keyboard
you
warriors. This is what
When-
you call keyboard warriors.
That's right. I think you were chatting with somebody as well in the private chat. They were saying something.
Man,
You said something. I liked it. I liked what you said. He was saying something stupid about Islam, and he said Islam is a rapist religion. And you said, well, okay, basically, is that why so many women are converting to Islam? Dumb argument.
It's because they usually use this argument. They try to, instead of like debunking the religion, they go
Yeah.
through immoral acts, saying, oh, Islam
Yeah.
oppresses
Yeah.
women, and then it does all of these heinous things to women, and then you bring up this argument, and then it's futile.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Skeptic apparently is a Pajit. That's what someone's saying. I don't know. And he's saying Sabur is wasting my time. No, you're wasting my time. You're not jumping on the live stream. You're not showing the face. I want to see your face. Are you a Pajit? That's the question. Are you a Pajit? Because today is not a good day for Pajits. I've been taking out Pajits all day today. Anyway, go on. Carry on. Shweta.
Yeah. So basically, my
sorry. Say
yeah.
that again. I took you out by
Okay.
accident.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, my question was the issue on determinism and everything. I was speaking to somebody, and he basically brought up the argument by the fact that we don't have free will, and he gave a really good example on that. He said, for example, if we compared two people, like let's say one of them was like the student of the Prophet, so he was a companion, right? And he had all his life learning about the religion, or maybe he was one of his relatives. You cannot compare that person to somebody who lived in the West in this time, had, I don't know, like his family were all never thought about religion or anything like that, and they were just pure atheists, the consuming wine, doing fornication, like never thinking about religion. And then that person hears about Islam and rejects the religion, and gets to hell, unfortunately. And he basically saying that like it really depends on the circumstances that you go through. So you really can't compare somebody who was at the time of the Prophet, who was a companion, to another person who was actually had no had no connection to Islam whatsoever, then eventually rejects the religion since he heard about it before. And you say that that Islam has free will. It really depends on the circumstances that you go through. So I was just wondering what we could say on that.
I don't see how that argument flows. I don't see how that's valid. The circumstances are irrelevant. Allah can create somebody, and while the person is 2 years old, Allah already knows if you lived up to 100 years, if you were born at the time of the Sahaba, or if you were born in the house of Pharaoh, if you're born in the liberal San Francisco, what you would do. Would you pray? Would you not pray? Would you believe in Allah? Will you make dua? Will you study a trilobite and then say it's the process of Darwinism that created it, or is this the process of intelligent design? Like every single scenario, every single potentiality, Allah knows. Like, it's irrelevant. What happens is irrelevant. That makes no difference. What it is Allah has told us we have free will. Allah has told us He already knows everything. Everything's determined. Now, from a theistic perspective, we would accept both of those things. We would leave it. From an atheistic perspective, you can't accept free will ever, even though they try and justify it, right? But from our perspective, we would just bring it back to Allah and we would just accept it because Allah said so.
And from an atheist perspective, how would you refute this point?
Atheists don't even have a leg in this fight because they can't reconcile free will and determinism themselves. We have Allah, so we can do it, but as a conceptual anchor to explain it, they don't have nothing. Sorry, 1 second. I'm falling asleep. You don't need to fall asleep. I can wake you up by refuting you, but you need to switch on your camera. And since you're not switching on your camera, you can basically get lost. Yeah, carry on, Shoaib.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So yeah, they can't really reconcile, and they can't really explain the difference between free will and determinism.
They
Obviously,
definitely can't. No, they definitely can't. They definitely can't. No,
I
but
see.
today I want to have I want to have do the questions related to the Dave discussion, not general questions. So, do you have any do you have any comments or questions or anything about the Dave debate?
Is there a specific date that
Yep,
everything's going to take place?
yep,
Okay.
yep. Okay,
And when will he announce the date?
Okay, 1 second. Thursday, 3rd October is Darwinian evolution a fact? Tuesday, 8th October is universal common ancestry true? Is intelligent design science? Friday, 11th October. Now, in case there's some issues, we can move the debates around because the universities have in principle agreed. So there may be a slight change to the dates, hopefully not. But yeah.
I see, perfect. Okay. Jazakallah khairan. Yeah, that was all the questions I had. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you, brother Shoaib. Okay. Yep. 3rd October is Darwinian evolution a fact? All righty. So I'm going to be answering questions. How's your preparation different for this debate as opposed to your other debates you've had? I don't think the structure of the debate changes. So the structure of the debate when it comes to Aaron Ra, that's not changing. I'm not changing that. The structure of the argument that I'm making, it's the same argument. When it comes to intelligent design, not changing. When it comes to universal common ancestry, same thing. What changes is, say, the latest studies that you have. So, for example, in the debate, the first debate is Darwinian evolution a fact. I'm going to be using some references from this year, 2024, right? So that's obviously different to my debate with Aaron Ra because that was 2016. So new things have happened since then. So there's that. Same in the intelligent design. There's some new stuff, right, coming out. So that's there. Universal common ancestry, philosophically, pretty much the same thing. Obviously, new studies can impact the way that you make the argument. Okay, any other questions? Is the crossbreed of cauliflower and broccoli evidence for Darwinian evolution? Is there a net increase in fitness here? The problem here is, what do you mean by Darwinian evolution? Do you just mean that new varieties can appear in organisms through copying errors being selected and having fitness advantages? Like, that's pretty obvious. Is that the same as that mechanism explaining all of life? No. You know, all the functions that we have, all the adaptations that we have, is that how they evolved? No. Like, it's not the same evidence. Yep, 3 dates in October. There's the dates. Yep. Those are the debates. May Allah bless the person who is, setting up this particular series of debates. Beacons of Sanctity's president, the Sneef Ahmed, very good guy. He set up my debate with Jeremy Pritchard, reliable guy from Birmingham. So he's done the groundwork. He's done the hard work. Who is Dave Farina? Dave Farina is... Who is Dave Farina? He's a YouTuber who's becoming too big for his boots. He's trying to, get into the debating scene, and he's had a horrible debate which he lost with James Tor. Now he wants to have more debates. May I know your academic background, meaning your specialty? I speak on philosophy because that is my background. I have a master's in philosophy. Listen, yeah, you were supposed to join. You didn't switch on your camera. Mutations can't generate new information. Don't say it. Okay? Like, why? Why can't I say it? You had your chance. You never joined. Now you're boring. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Thank you, brother. I'll be on this arena sometime in the future. What are you going to argue anyway? I'm going to argue Darwinian evolution is not a fact. It may be the dominant evolutionary theory. It may be the best naturalistic theory if naturalism is true. That's the only game in town. Someone can argue that too. But it's not true. You can't say it's true. Oh, what else? Secondly, I'll be saying you can't say universal common ancestry is true, literally. Thirdly, I'll be saying intelligent design is science, and obviously he's going to argue against that. Yeah, that's the problem. Unless he's challenging certain people, he's getting irrelevant. And you do get this, Yeah, and he did badly. I travel around a lot. I need to go to Latin America at some point this year. Probably after that, inshallah. Yeah, I think so. Officer Gunner, you're right. I'm actually pretty hungry. Should I order some food or no? I need to eat something healthy. Yeah, collab with Fareed. Should. Any other questions? Order Somali food. I love Somali food because it's high in protein. They make good lamb. Actually, it's high in carb too, but I'm not a carb guy. Christian, evangelicals, Muslim, Dawah, whatever. You had your choice to. You had your 5 minutes of fame and you lost it. You refused to come. A lot of comments. I'm going to be answering comments in related to the Dave Farina debate. Shutting on. He's not even. He doesn't even have that. He's not even good at YouTube. If you're gonna do stuff on YouTube, you do things that you can manage, right? Like I wouldn't debate a sociologist on is the Marxist understanding of the collapse of the Soviet Union valid? I wouldn't do that. It's beyond my pay grade. Here's a guy who failed twice to get a degree in chemistry, a master's in chemistry, failed, utterly failed, and then goes and has a debate with the chemist and loses. That's not a good YouTube strategy. If you're wondering why I'm drinking this big bottle, I need a glass. Yeah. I mean, his only relevant debate is the origin of life one. And that was so embarrassing for him. That was so embarrassing for this guy. But he has no shame. He has no honor. Honestly, he's completely he's got no sense of self-perception, self-awareness. We saw the science he wrote and explained on the board with James Tour. Oh wait, there was none. Funny. Um, all right, let's watch this. Yeah, this is so funny.
Takes place exclusively on YouTube or in-person events for science-illiterate Christians who share his biases and delusions. James' clueless ramblings do not even remotely resemble primary scientific literature. Idiotic. We will get to James fumbling the science in a moment, but first it is important to establish that James is a brazen liar. This is the dumbest straw man in history. Well, he reveals a level of incompetence that is shocking for someone of his stature. In his profound ignorance, he can't even read a 13C NMR spectrum, something he should have learned as an undergrad. The idea
This guy, like, he's just got these particular things he wants to say, and it doesn't matter whether they make sense or not, or they're relevant. But anyway,
that James can't do something that an undergrad could do is astounding, and whether his brain ceases to function when examining this research, or he is deliberately lying to a gullible audience with no clue what he's talking about.
look how he's trying to come across articulate, right? But he has to read from a piece of paper. Even his takedowns have to be written down. How pathetic is that?
His credibility is reduced to zero with this example alone. He is a toxic individual and pathological liar who actively promotes science denial and slanders diligent researchers. He made that.
He slanders diligent researchers. You're talking to a researcher. You failed twice to get a degree in chemistry. Come on, man. Let's watch this, guys.
That up like a liar. This hurt James so badly his viewers can't read, so they just ate up the fabricated story. Pretty dumb lie to tell. I think we can all agree that we are establishing the pathological nature of his lying. Well, then you're blind.
Look. If the audience doesn't agree with him, then he starts getting rattled. Just look at his face. This is quite funny. Let's do a psychoanalysis here.
Well, then you're blind.
Look at that. The guy, he clearly did not like the audience's reaction. He's just got, look at his body language. He has no experience.
And now he says, I can't even make the RNA. Who cares? You lied about this. Look, my God. It's not there. It's not there. You are literally pulling this out of your ass. This has been done for decades. You guys, none of you people know this research. Wow. Lies and cheers. Amazing. Lies and cheers. It's replication. I'm not sure exactly in the context of the paper, but he's saying that 2' linkages don't matter. As though you people have any fucking clue what any of us are talking about. Oh.
He first tries to win over the audience, right? And then he starts attacking them. Come on, man. Just stick to one strategy. Either attack the audience or try and win them over. Don't just try and do both. What terrible debater.
I know about RNA. No, you don't. You have no clue what I...
So he's talking to university students who actually, a lot of them are students of James Tour, and he's telling the audience they don't know what they're talking about when he's a failure himself.
Other of us are saying, deal with it. Answer the question. Yeah, that's why I brought a bunch of research James pretends isn't real, and you're all pretending to understand right now. Again, James has humiliated himself even tonight, claiming peptides can't form in water. James, you're flailing
you asked
here.
me one specific.
I don't care whatever you guys are saying. None of you.
Try and win over the audience and then start attacking them. Great strategy there, Dave.
Have any capacity to read this literature, and you're just blindly believing James. You have no idea what he's talking about. Okay, James. So check it out. You're completely unhinged and wrong about everything we said about polypeptides and polynucleotides. Enzymes did it just like they do today. Can you wrap your head around that, James?
Universe in 14 billion years.
Wow, big numbers,
Yeah,
guys.
big numbers.
Remember
Okay.
the billions of compounds.
Okay,
and the
you
NMR
want me to
spectrum that you
address
can't read
Bennett's
because you're a
problem?
buffoon?
Here's four.
This is pathetic.
No.
You're covering for the fact that you can't
let
read
me
a
go over this
13C
with you.
NMR spectrum.
Here he gives his half-life. He gives the half-life. I've given it to you.
Yeah, this is my 2 minutes, James. Keep quiet. So
What
you
she
remember
shows
when
in-
you couldn't
no,
read
what
this
she,
paper?
What
It was
she
really
shows
funny.
in her own paper, she shows two methods: a kinetic method and here, take the chalk, write it for us.
Oh man. Oh man. This is gonna be brutal, guys. Guys. This is gonna be mean. There's some mean stuff you're about to watch. He's gonna be asked to do something on the board. Chalk in his hand. Let's see.
For us. Anywhere you
Take
want.
the chalk.
Write it for us. Tell us.
Don't
Where does
show
it
me
come
research. Take the chalk. Please, take the chalk. Your prompts are all just clueless because I say so.
So we don't have a
Clueless
lot
'cause
of
I say
time, so it really is going to.
from? Question.
You
In
people
your
are
last,
idiots.
in your latest video,
What is one thing that they admire
So when he was asked to, do the thing on the board, he couldn't completely.
about each other's scientific career?
let me start. This man has said multiple times that I have called him stupid. I have never called him stupid because I don't think he's stupid. I have said he's clueless on this topic. I have said he cannot read the scientific literature. That doesn't mean stupid. This man has become a musician, and then he went out and in 2015, he started an educational site, which is huge. Stupid people can't do that. I admire him. This is an educational site, and I have never called him stupid because he's not stupid. He's not stupid. So I admire him for his educational site. And from what I understand, I'm not a musician. From what I understand, what people said, he's an excellent musician. I admire him for that as well. His wife is here. He's a father. He has 2 children. I admire that a man can have a wife and 2 children and stay married and do these things these days. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I admire that.
And just look at his reaction. Look how he doesn't know anything about emotional intelligence. He doesn't realize how bad it's going to look right now.
I admire the tenacity with which you stick to a script of lies. It's actually quite impressive.
Hello and welcome to Ways to Change the World.
Come on, man. So bad. So bad. How are you going to deal with Dave's tantrums? Let him have his tantrums live in front of an audience. It's beautiful. And those are going to make for some good YouTube shorts afterwards. So inshallah, that's the strategy. Well, that video says it all. I mean, his fanboys are always gonna defend him. So what? Needs teaching manners as well. I agree. I mean, oh, yeah, probably will, and it's not going to be in his favor because he is a scripted guy. He cannot step outside of his script. I'm going to take him out of his script. Charlatans tend to clump together and wonder why you support Tor and Behe. Yeah, go eat a sandwich and sit down. You were invited to the stream and you decided not to join. Yeah, and you're fooled for being in the backstage for half an hour and you didn't switch on your camera. When is the debate? Can someone help out this person? Where's the person who had the debate timings written? So something common I see in the science field to appeal to Muslim evolutionists is, if Allah can create, why can't He evolve? How can I respond to the statement that people bring it up? They're right. Some people will be turned into, in the future, will be turned into apes. Some people in the past, humans, were turned into apes. Allah can evolve, Allah can change, Allah in that's none of this is a problem. The question is, what is the origin of life on Earth? Is it a case that it's a blind naturalistic evolution with no theistic input? That's what we would challenge. If someone was to say, is it not possible for Allah to evolve things? Well, yeah, it's not an issue. Bring it on. Yeah, I've seen the term evolver being used in translations of certain verses in the Quran. But I don't know if that's the correct usage, because remember, translations don't always accurately represent the origins, the words. It obviously gives you the correct meaning, the actual message. Like, for example, the message of this verse is to show Allah's greatness, right? Particular words we need to be careful of. Yeah, I noticed this as well. Even some Pajits. Even some Pajits. Funny enough. What is the announcement? 3 debates with Farina. Sam. His main tactic is insulting his opponent's intellect by focusing on the fringe belief his opponent may hold. How do you combat this? Well, whatever. We're debating particular topics. If he's just going to go off on something, it's irrelevant. Is Darwin evolution a fact? Yes or no? Is intelligent design science? Yes or no? Is universal common ancestry true? Yes or no? That's it. Doesn't matter what he does. Answer those questions. All right, I'm reading the comments, guys. reading the comments. No problem, Moshi. Comments or questions about the debate with Mr. Farina? That's what we're doing today. Okay. It's your mind has to be calm, but you can be as passionate and as energetic and as electrifying as you want, but your mind has to be the calm one, because there's opportunities to rip down your opponent when they make mistakes. Okay. My master's is in philosophy, and my master's thesis was in the philosophy of biology. I already answered that. These, you can use any particular gene, use anything, but it's all an argument for homology, essentially. Doesn't matter what the latest scientific studies are, the assumptions are the same. Um, I don't know. I'm just reading the comments, guys. Who's watching from Twitter here? If you're watching from Twitter, please say hello. Trying to figure out who's watching from Twitter. Can you even leave a comment if you're watching from Twitter? That's the question. Oh, I see. Interesting. To answer your question, more people being exposed to the ideas. Why? The debate is in English. It's not really so much he doesn't have credentials. He doesn't have an argument. Why don't you use the term Darwinian evolution skeptic? Why are you avoiding that term? The debate is in person because that's the way that it should be, inshallah. You can't run away. Just going to put my phone on charge. Are you flying to America? He's coming here. No, he's going to come here. He's getting funded for that flights and hotels. Yes. Yes, he will. Just want to hear a glimpse of the argument for intelligent design. No. You should have joined the stream when you had the chance. No, you're irrelevant. Will this debate make a case to defend human origin as per Islam? No. And the question is, do we even have a narrative on that? What narrative do we have? We don't. We haven't been told in Islam what is the mechanism by which human beings were created. Now, Islam, the Quran, the Sunnah, it's not there to give you scientific knowledge. It's there to propel you to be a better human being, to worship Allah, and of course, it encourages knowledge of the natural world. And we're supposed to seek that knowledge. Yeah. No, I had my debate with him. I don't think I need to debate him again. He seems to be coming closer to believing in God, from the sounds of it. See, this is a problem. If you're reading Darwin's Black Box, Dave has an entire video on that god-awful book. Why take him seriously? What has he said? Do you even understand what was being said by Behe? Like, probably you probably won't be able to even summarize what his argument is. Typical Pajit reaction. Yep, that's right. Wow, I've been live 2 hours. Mad. Well, I get asked what's the biggest evidence against Darwinism. Let them put forward their case first. Then you can poke holes in it. No, he speaks about physics and beginning of the universe and those things. I don't talk about that topic with academics because you need to have a lot of knowledge to speak about that. I just jumped in. I want to know what Pajit is. Okay. Firstly, Pajit isn't a particular race, a particular group, but usually it's a reference to the Hindu right-wing filthy people who attack and kill civilians. So it's usually linked to violence and filth. There's no other way of putting it. You can have non-Hindu Pajits too. In fact, I've discovered one. More than one, obviously. So it's not racist term. It's not in relation to Indians in particular. But that would be bad. We don't take a creationist approach by saying Darwinism is false. We instead say Darwinism is an absolute truth because, firstly, Darwinism is the best naturalistic explanation from a scientific perspective. You can't say it's not science. It is science. So the question is naturalism. Is naturalism true? And obviously we challenge that. And we can show that it's not absolutely true. And that is sufficient because their argument is there's no God because Darwinism is true. And obviously there's lots of problems with the theory from a scientific perspective. All right, guys, I'm pretty tired. I want to take some rest now. I'll take some rest. I just need to go visit somebody. So, yeah. Now you guys, you can go and you can comment on Dave's channel, get him to respond. Make sure he doesn't cower out of this debate, wimp out of this debate. All right, guys, it's great speaking to you. It's fun, and now I'm gonna go. So, assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, and hope you guys have a fantastic day.